From the deep dark reaches of Star Trek Online comes Nikodas, Tabitha, and Grebog with another episode of Fleet Action Report.
Good evening and welcome to Fleet Action Report, the show where we don't just play the game, but we teach you how to play the game. I'm Nikodas.
I'm still Grebog. The real Grebog too, not the fake one. We're gonna bring back all the old jokes.
That's what happens when Tabby's not with us.
Yeah. Tabby will not be here tonight. She is in upstate Michigan, I think, somewhere. She's out in the wilderness, and it takes too long for the bits to go from one tree to the next, and so unfortunately, no Tabby. Unless I'm mistaken, and Tabby just forgot about us. But I'm pretty sure that the internet's not so great where she's currently at. But yeah, you're stuck with us.
Yeah, the OG team. Do you want me to do it, or are you going to do the computer thing?
I was gonna, computer run program, Fleet Action Report, episode 228, boosted boo, now with science, or for those that don't know, boo, beam overload. We probably could do that. We might have time because this might be a quicker episode. We're gonna delve into my variant of the Typhoon, not Typhoon. That's another ship. The Typhoon beam overload build. Though I do have to give credit. I'll give credit to the people that helped me get some thoughts on this. But anyway, yes, you being here is support alone. We appreciate you. Also, if you want to subscribe, that would be appreciative as well. And if you don't want to give Twitch money, you can give money to Coffee, ko-fi.com/GREBOG, and they take less of a cut, and we appreciate any and all donations, and the money goes towards helping, well, things that we purchased in the past, where what was streaming software or stuff that help make things run. Things that if we get enough money in the future might get things like ships in game that we can test out and tinker with, stuff like that. But even like I said,
be able to give some free subs or something.
Yeah. And as I said before, just your presence is gift enough for us. So Nikodas, how's your week been, and what have you been up to on this Thanksgiving day of all days?
Yeah, well, the food coma happened. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I technically started school. No classes yet, but I had orientation. So I know, the rules and expectations, and I got to meet all the staff. I also think I left my hat and gloves there, which I'm hoping to get back. And then work and Thanksgiving today. I'm also going to be in a parade on Saturday, but I'll talk about that next week.
A parade?
Yeah, Christmas parade. I get to drive a wee-woo bus in a parade. My kids are going to go with me and hand out candy to bystanders. It's going to be a good day. As far as gaming goes, I picked up the remake of Dragon Quest III. It's kind of chronologically the first one in the series, and they did a 3D remake of it. So I picked that up. I've been playing around on that a little bit when I have time. And I've been doing some solo gaming. Magnamund Publishing have been reprinting a lot of the old Choose Your Own Adventure Lone Wolf books. And they managed to get their hands on 3 books called Autumn Snow. And Autumn Snow started as a Kickstarter years and years ago that the original creator, Joe Deaver, kind of gave permission for somebody else to write stories about a different character in the same world as Lone Wolf and Greystar. The Kickstarter was not handled very well, and it left a nasty taste in a lot of backers, mouths. But Magnum Publishing have gotten the rights somehow to those 3 books, and they reprinted them and sold them on their website. And I've been reading those as a solo game, so that's been fun. That's really been it, though. Oh, and I'm always on STO. I've still got my army of characters going. I picked up the new Ferengi ship that we're going to be talking about here in a minute, and threw that on one of my army of newbies that I'm making. So I have a Ferengi that's actually flying a Ferengi ship, and it's a very shiny ship. But again, we'll talk about that here in a minute. What about you, Grebog? What you been up to?
I was dealing with a furnace that decided to not want to do its desire or its intended purpose. Instead of burning and heating, it decided to leak, and so it's a hot water system. Okay. Abby forgot her laptop power cord, and it happens.
It's understandable.
I mean, so yeah, the furnace. So we have a hot water system. Like the furnace, it's got a boiler, and there is 2 sections to it. One section is to the radiators to heat the house. The other section goes in to create hot water for the water pipe, like your sinks and faucets and such. Well, I long ago found out that it costs way less electricity than it was in how much added fuel cost it was to heat the water for the sinks, that I turned off the hot water side, and that's the side that ended up having a leak. So since we weren't using it, we have an electric hot water heater. I just had the furnace guy cut out the hot water to that section. I'm like, if it's leaking and whatnot, what we're not using it, we don't need it. And because the brilliance of people that design furnaces, they put control modules right underneath plumbing. And he said that he's like, I don't know why they do it. They do it on every furnace that I've worked on. And that's, to me, always like he's like, it's the not intelligent spot to put it, because what happens if there's a leak like this? Yeah. Circuit board shorted out and burnt off part of the circuit board because it did such a great short. So yeah,
funny, but the way you said it is amusing.
$400 control board later, the furnace is now running. So
Well, at least they fixed it. But yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I'm like, so furnace is running. Though I feel that that circuit board, the control board, was maybe aged and not working 100% as is, because since that, the furnace has been. Seems to, the furnace doesn't run as hard, it seems like, to heat the house. Now, granted, it's not been super cold, but like, I used to remember how much the furnace like ran before. And now it's running less, and we still have the same heat, if not better, in the house. And so, I'm like, hey, if it's running less to heat the house better, I'm all for it. Yeah. So whatever the change was with that circuit board, I kind of wonder if it was the sensor, because part of this control board was sense the temperature of the water to know how hot the water was, so it would fire or not fire. And then if maybe it was the old sensor was going bad and reading wrong, it may not have been getting hot enough. like it should have been, and so that might be where, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of my time was dealt with that. I've been playing WoW. I've been playing STO. I've been mastering ships because I was hoping to get some ships, and then they gave us a ship. Wasn't really expecting that. Oh, did you put on the new scan
You're moving, sir.
I'm moving?
Oh, maybe it was me. I don't know. One of us was moving. It's fine. It's fine. I oopsed. It's okay.
But anyway, that's my
actually,
week.
The trait on the new ship is kind of interesting too.
Yeah, I didn't put that in our notes because that didn't get changed, but everything else did. Or some other things did. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got it. All right. So there's an Admiralty bonus week going on from now until December 3rd. You receive extra campaign experience on any Admiralty mission. So go out there and get that stuff done.
Black Friday sales, some of it has already been going on. The 25% off has been going on for a while now. That ends December 3rd, so you still have time for getting things that are 25% off if you're looking to buy some ships. It's everything in the Zen store, well, minus the other things that have other sale items, but but yeah, everything in the Zen store is at least 25% off until December 3rd. And then until December 4th, you can get 25 bonus charge on your Zen, which means like if you buy, say, 1,000 Zen, you would get an extra 25% on top of that, which is what, another 250. So you get, but that's not counting the if you the bigger packages, they normally already have a bonus charge, like a bonus amount added to the Zen. But I don't know if that technically, you don't get bonus to the bonus. I think you just get bonus from the base. If that makes sense.
Something like that, yeah.
And then starting today, they added in a Muds bundle sale. All old Mud bundles have returned, and you can now buy any Mud bundle for 50% off. And that sale goes until the 10th of December. They people were hoping for other sales to happen. I would not count out, like, I don't know that we're done seeing new sales. Keep an eye out. And the reason I say that, because normally there's like a ship bundle sale that might come along that will drop the 10th anniversary bundle back into the store for the short duration of that sale. Sometimes there's even a Lobby sale. Supposedly there's supposed to be a Lobby sale that started today, but my my Lobby store does not say anything is on sale. So we might still see some more sales. Whether they start tomorrow, because tomorrow's technically Black Friday, or they might start Monday, which would be Cyber Monday, or because they seem to like to drop things on Tuesday/Thursday, they might do the Cyber Monday sale starts on this next Tuesday. So I just keep your eyes out. Normally they tweet about the stuff, but they did not tweet about the Mud Bundle stuff going on to sale. So good luck.
The truth. The Grand Nagus celebrates Black Friday. On PC, it has already started. It goes until the 10th of December. On console, you start on the 3rd and run to the 17th. So the way this works is you go to the promotion tab and you claim the Grand Nagus gift. This includes a Tier 6 Ferengi Nagus Marauder Battlecruiser. Now this has been updated. The seating now includes a command Commander Engineering / Command seat. Sorry, that's hard to say. It comes with a universal console, the Battle Module 4000, which reduces battle mode cooldown from 20 seconds to 5 seconds. It increases your hit chance, and it has a clicky of a swarm missile targeting arc. Basically, a bunch of little missiles shoot out from your ship, and this increases the damage that they do and the cooldown.
And they increase the fire arc on the missiles.
Yeah, that too. It has its own skin, which is called the Nagus gold-plated ship customization. And then there's 3 outfit boxes you get. So you get the Ferengi Entrepreneur's outfit, both male and female. The Ferengi Merchant's outfit, both male and female. And then the baseball uniforms for the Ferenginar Liquidators, both the home and away variants. So there's a lot to this giveaway. It is completely free. You only need to claim it on one character, and then what happens is it will pop it down into the promotions tab as separate items. So the Ferengi Marauders in here, and then the outfit boxes are in here. So the first time you get it, it's one item, and then you unbox it, and it will throw everything into your inventory. But for all the other characters on your account, they'll be in the promotions tab as separate items. So you get one item for the ship and one item for the uniforms.
Yeah. If you're like me and have a hard time finding in the promotions tab, I just put Nagus in, and it dropped it down. If it's the first time you're claiming it, you'll just see the Grand Nagus giveaway. Once you claim that, it will then drop in the ship as a separate item, and the outfits as the separate claim. So, and once you do the Nagus giveaway, it opens it up entirely for your account. I think even after this giveaway goes away, which you only have 12 more days to claim, now until the 10th. So yeah, if you claim it on your account, but before then, any character I think even created after that will be able to see the ship and the outfit boxes. It just, yeah.
This is almost like a legendary version because it has its own skin. It does not have any extra legendary stuff. Like there's no extra trait or anything like that. But the unique skin is interesting.
It was a lockbox ship. So I mean that's kind of why it's an older lockbox ship. Hence it only having a lieutenant commander specialty seating. So they just went ahead and gave us a commander specialty seating as well, which should be fun. And yeah, some of the outfits, many people have been complaining that some of the outfits do not work for Romulan or KDF, and that is one of the drawbacks, yes. However, it's free stuff, so I guess that's that. Like the baseball outfits, Nimoy is talking about some of this, like yeah, all the outfits typically work for Federation captains, and then you have baseball outfits that they work for everybody. And the last bit of news is the event that's going on, that's still going. It is the Feast, which is now until December 3rd, so you don't have a whole lot of time left. That's for PC. Console starts on January 24th of next year, so yay. This is the last event that is part of the year-long event campaign. So if you haven't completed your year-long event campaign, you won't. Well, you have to do it with this event, or you won't get it done this year. But you only need 14 completions to be able to get the reward, and that you can get from Bug Hunt or the Swarm. Both of those are TFOs. And the reward is the Universal Kit Module Macrovirus Array. And also you get 3 TFO reward boxes that you get the choice of the specialization point or an enhanced universal tech upgrade. And then after that, you get dilithium.
Like all the events.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the event. That's the news.
So our primary target today is we're back on the Typhoon. A few weeks back, we did a beam overload build on here that was more of a traditional beam overload build. Grebog came up with a really interesting kind of science beam overload build. I've never quite seen a build like this before, but we're going to give it a shot. It's based on kind of 2 traits that make your weapons fire pretty consistently. So it's not about big numbers; it's about consistent damage, weapons firing speed.
It's about the cat's meow.
Yeah, and Angel saying hi to everybody. She's mad at me because we went for to visit family, and I wasn't here today.
So I picked. So I picked up a lot of this from Spencer. He does some good build videos. And after seeing what he was talking about, I kind of liked the concept and kind of went with it from there with what I had. I don't have everything he has because, well, I don't have every ship in the game. There's the link to the spreadsheet for the build. A lot of this is very similar to the other build that we showed off. Like I am using disruptor weapons, which not shocking there. I have all generic disruptor. I went with Spiral Wave because I had access to them. But I do have the wide angle one from the Discovery rep, though I'm not using it to get any bonus like damage. Like I'm not using it for a set or anything.
I am.
If you don't have some of the consoles, that's why I put it as one of the alternative consoles in that section, because if you don't have some of the consoles I do, then you can easily just grab the Lorca console to slap in to get that extra bonus. Also, if you do a phaser version of this instead of disruptor like I did, phaser does kind of play well with this. Well, with the Lorca set.
Because I'm using phaser.
One of the difference, I'm using the Romulan Advanced Prototype Impulse engines, and a lot of that comes down to, I believe, it has to do with the power settings, I believe, and it's one of the better if you're going to go with a non-set setup, it's one of the better engines to run. I also am using the Tholian Nucleating Warp Core. There are benefits to that. You leave around crystals that, if you touch them, will regenerate your shields. If your enemies touch them, it will hurt them. And it is nice. It can be a nice bonus if you are looking for some survivability. Yeah. And then I also have, obviously, a Tilly shield. Now, if you want to do the Tilly shield, like 2-piece for this, for added survivability, I would actually, instead of going with the Warp Core, swap out the Impulse engines for the ones that come from the Discovery rep. That would make it so you'd have the 2-piece, because the benefit of the Tholian Nucleating shield, like Warp Core, kind of is really nice with those little crystals you fling around. On the aft, I have the Pavin Proton Beam Array, which I believe we had on the other setup. Apparently the math says it does so much damage that going with an off-type weapon that you might use it over any other set beam array on the rear. And then I just have a standard Omni disruptor beam, and then I put the kinetic cutting beam back here. I know some people like to put turrets. Turret would be fine. Kinetic cutting beam's fine. Though it also gives you, if you have the kinetic cutting beam and you don't have one of my other consoles, you could grab the assimilated module to go for another 2-piece set bonus. So there is some thought in why I picked some of this. Obviously, I went with 5 plasma distribution manifolds with the disruptor flavor for the added disruptor damage. And I know some people get a little confused, even though it says plasma, like it's an isomagnetic plasma distribution manifold. The plasma in the name there does not refer to plasma damage. It's what's in the brackets at the end that matters. Though make sure it doesn't just say DIS in the brackets if you're looking for disruptor damage. They tend to abbreviate the name if it's for resistance. So DIS is typically disruptor resistance, but disruptor spelled out is disruptor damage. I think the one exception to that rule is anti-proton, because it was so long they went a different naming convention for the anti-proton for the resistance versus the damage increase. But all right, now on to consoles. This is where things get interesting. So I have here the Agony redistributor. This comes from the Terran Adamant Intel Heavy Raider. It was at one time nerfed drastically, but then they buffed it back up, and now it's pretty decent even still. It's a great all around, damage like buff on a clicky. Then I have, for more damage, is the Subspace Fracture Tunneling Field, and that one comes from the Voven Obelisk Carrier, which is an event we just had not super long ago. The trick on this one, because it gives you 30% hull regeneration, not reduced during combat, but it teleports you. If you don't want to teleport anywhere away, you can target yourself and hit it, and you really won't go anywhere. You can also use it to get yourself right up close to your enemy if you are, because this only needs to be 20 kilometers away, and then you can teleport, and then it'll put you, I think, 5 kilometers. So it's a way to get you into combat fast if you need that. This is a bit of a survivability, but it does have some bonus to damage. The Sensor Phantom Projector Console. So it only matters when you're attacking your enemy's rear arc. It does have some crit severity on it, but when you use it, you create a copy of yourself that starts behind your enemy, and it taunts them. And that Sensor Phantom, they'll basically turn around and show you that they're aft, and then you get to shoot them in their aft. So it's a way of trying to get some of the heat off of you if you need it. And then we use this is from the Awani. Did I tell you where the sensor project? No. So the Sensor Phantom Projector Console comes from the Cyclone Intel Escort. Next up, we have the Fleet Power Network Array that comes from the Awani. It is a great, because it gives you fire cycle haste, and it does just, yeah. It does scale with auxiliary power, which means I probably should drop my shield down and I should drop my shield power down and bump up my auxiliary a little more. No, you stay maxed. We'll call that good for now. I'll tinker with it.
So what did you change?
I was thinking I should probably drop my shield power down, because the way the Fleet Power Network Array works, is based off of, like, the fire cycle haste is based off of your aux power.
Are you gonna leave engines up, or are you dropping engines too?
I probably would drop shield to. Let's drop it at least to 45. Leave engines at 30. And I think that brings. Yeah, it brings it up to 25 for aux. I'll have to see how that works.
Okay.
I also have on here adaptive emergency systems. It has some base max hull capacity and more. It's a little bit of a survivability, but on the clicky, it does damage and damage resistance buff. It gives you plus 50 damage, bonus all damage resistance, but it also gives you a big plus 30% bonus all damage. So, I mean, yeah. And if you're below 50% of your hull, it gets even bigger. Now, the next two consoles most people aren't going to have, which is the DPRM, which is the Dynamic Power Redistributor Module. First here, let's see. The Adaptive Emergency Systems comes from the Sojourner Operation Star Cruiser, the Kalis War Battle Cruiser, Shamshir Operations Dreadnought. If you kind of get it, it's the big command ships that are for your faction. And even the legendary versions like the legendary Scimitar, legendary Bordescu, legendary Verity, they all have it. Now DPRM is a very hard to get because it comes from the Atlas prototype Dreadnought Cruiser. So they did recently put that into a MUDs bundle, which currently is on sale. So for people that wanted it, you can get it now a lot easier than before. It is a huge. It does have some little damage resistance increase, but it has 19% directed energy weapon damage, and then on clicky, you get even more bonus damage and more damage resistance, and even some hull regen. So it can help you survive, on top of boosting your damage to crazy levels. And then I obviously have the Immolating Phaser Lance, because as it's kind of become a running joke that wherever Grebog is, there's an Immolating Phaser Lance. And this comes from the Demos. It does it does increase phaser damage, which I don't have phasers, so it doesn't really help there, but just the damage amount it does. Now the shield pen that this has on it is still pretty amazing and impressive. And then it does, like I said, the Phaser Lance is a massive hit. It's a pretty potent thing. With all my current sitting not in combat, my Phaser Lance here says it'll do 17,116 phaser damage on a single hit. So that's pretty beefy.
Just out of curiosity, do you want me to read through some of this too, so you're not talking the whole time, like talking yourself hoarse? I mean,
I might just need to
out wrong.
Take a pause, drink a little tea.
Okay.
All right, some alternative consoles, because obviously I put some in there that you won't have, like DPRM, Immolating Phaser Lance. Those are two that a lot of people won't have. Domino, if you have the ship from the event, great console. Comes from the Bajoran Interceptor. It is now in the Phoenix lockbox system, so you can, like, for the year-long event campaign, honestly, it would be a great ship to pick up just for this console. This has always been like, if you don't have DPRM, grab the Domino. Though some people like to use DPRM and the Domino, but not everyone has everything. Domino is a great console. Tachyon Net Drones is another great console. This one comes from the Bozeman Intel Heavy Frigate. It puts out there basically a D20 shaped thing that anything inside of it takes even more damage, and I believe it spreads the damage to anything else that's also inside the sphere-ish, the die. And as I said earlier, because we have the rep of the Disco Rep wide angle beam array on the front, you could grab Lorca's custom fire controls to get to 2-piece. And if with the assimilated module, you can pick that up, and that's also from the Task Force Omega Rep, and that will get you the 2-piece with the kinetic cutting beam. Both things are nice, and would work well in this build. Some of the tricks, let's see. So here, let's look at the power, the the bridge officer power. You're going to notice this is very heavy temporal / science. It doesn't seem like your standard beam overload build, because on the command engineer has temporal seating, went with recursive shearing 3, emergency power to weapons 3, chronometric inversion field 1, and Heisenberg amplifier 1. A lot of that is like the last two, like in the lieutenant and the ensign seat, are to help trigger 2 of the traits, and we'll get to that. In the tactical lieutenant commander seat, beam overload 3, attack pattern beta, and then chemosite laced weaponry 1. With the ensign seat, I went with an engineer, and that was just so I can get the emergency power to engines. There are 2 reasons for this, and one of them is because of one of the traits that I am using, though it also can be used to, with the right duty officer, you can get your evasive maneuvers back. We all know that emergency con hologram that we love. For science, the lieutenant commander, I have gravity well 1, very cold in space 2. If I remember correctly, that is from the winter event. So if you don't have very cold in space, you can buy it from the winter event vendor. Then tractor beam 1. And then we have, for the other universal lieutenant seat, we have scramble sensors 1 and jam targeting sensors. It seems like a lot of odd science powers, and there's nothing that we're going to be using that buffs science, so it may not make a lot of sense. On traits, I have in my default build here a lot of lockbox traits. The one that is required, I would say, for the way this build works, you need to have unconventional systems. It is a great trait. It basically, whenever you use a control bridge officer ability, it knocks 7% recharge time off your universal consoles. It's so that way you can keep triggering those consoles faster and faster. If you're fast enough, you can almost have 100% uptime on certain console powers. So, almost. Obviously, I'm using Boimler because Boimler's like, yeah. And then we have Fleet Coordinator, which is a everyone can have. I would also recommend any tactical to try to pick up a Good Day to Die, though this is another lockbox one, but it makes your go down fighting a lot more beneficial. I have Adaptive Offense, another lockbox trait. Increases crit chance and crit severity during repeated crit hits. Oh, well, the more times you hit critical hit, it increases your crit severity, every time. So, Fleet Coordinator, this is everyone, I think I already said. Fragment of AI Tech. Basically, it does help with control expertise, but it also gives you some more energy weapon damage based off of your control expertise. If you can see right now, it can max at 30%, sitting here with no console buffs or whatnot, I'm at 17.5% energy weapon damage increase. I went with the Intel Handler. This is kind of a newer one onto the scene on people recommending it. Basically, it marks a foe, and for 45 seconds, every 45 seconds, it'll do that. Defeating that foe provides a 4% critical 4% critical chance for 45 seconds. It basically increases you being able to crit more. Also a lockbox trait. Intelligence Agent Attaché, another one that's lockbox. Basically, on weapon critical strike, restores 2% of your captain abilities at recharge time. So it's a way to get your captain abilities back up. And scroll down. Another one is Symbiotic Ice from the lockbox system. Adds 6% of beam weapon damage as additional cold damage. For those that like to do cold damage, this would be great for those builds as well. This just gives you another 6% damage that typically is not resisted by a lot of enemies. Parent targeting system, another lockbox. Crit severity, being critically hit slows you, which is a drawback, but it gives you 15% more crit severity. Yeah, and I said Boimler already in unconventional systems. A lot of X's is a survivability one that I've picked up there, and I'll go through a bunch of free ones here in a second that you can fill in for that. It's in the alternative. Basically, if damaged well below 25% hull, you basically get some hit points and you get a big shield regen. This ability can be triggered once every 2 minutes. Now, some alternatives. Superior weapon or superior beam training is a great one to pick up. Same with beam barrage. They both help beam weapons do more damage. Let's see what else is. Operative's not bad. It gives you more crit for yourself. Accurate increases your hit chance, though a lot of people already are hitting pretty much every time. Techie is a survivability. Not bad to pick up. Oh, I guess I already need that there. Yeah, I think that's a lot. Unfortunately, they put some of the better traits in the lockbox system. It's a bit frustrating starting out, and I get being overwhelmed with like, more lockbox traits. I've picked these up over time and for my captains, and that's, yeah. Now, starship traits. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Nikodas is silent.
Well, you said you wanted to do the talking, so I am just following along.
Okay. In a beam overload build, very common. It's kind of required for a beam overload. Super weapon ingenuity. This comes from the Zendi Primate Adaleth Dreadnought cruiser, which is a Lobi ship. So, yeah. After that, let's make sure I don't have the one on that. I went with emergency weapon cycle. Basically, this cuts down your weapon power cost, which is needed in this build, and it increases fire cycle haste for energy weapons for 30 seconds. And basically, this triggers on any emergency powered weapon. On emergency powered weapons. So, whenever you hit that, your power costs go down. I stuck in here. Okay, well, let's see. Emergency powered weapons comes from the Arbiter Battlecruiser. I mean, which is why a lot of times we've hear us recommend the Arbiter, as if the first ship you pick up from the C store is anything, the Arbiter is a good choice. So I have the Best Diplomat, which comes from the legendary Constitution Miracle Worker Light Cruiser, which is the 10-year anniversary ship. So unfortunately, not a lot of people have this one. But basically, During fire at will or beam overload, or beam weapon damage is improved by engine, shield, and aux power. All the power counts into this one. Minimum of plus 10% damage, maximum of plus 30%. As long as your total shield, engine, and aux power goes to 300. Yeah. This one, improved critical systems. You get this through the temporal agent. It is a great trait. Increases your crit chance and damage. And yeah, just have a temporal agent, level them up. You get the first knock checkpoint. You get critical systems. Once you finish out that branch, I can't remember what you have to do for that branch of challenges. You end up getting the improved critical systems. So it's definitely worth to have a temporal agent. Calm before the storm. Now this one, I put this, there it is. Why does that just say? That's not where it came from.
I'll look it up real quick.
I'm pretty sure that is one of. Oh. Calm before the storm is very simply.
It comes off the Gimor, the Cardassian Gimor.
I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the. So, are you fixing it or well here no?
I'll fix it. You're good. Go on.
Okay. So not a terrible. Well, it's a pretty good trait to pick up. Basically, whenever you're while you're in combat, you get damage resistance stacks. Once you get 10 stacks, you flip over to Storm, and then it removes the Calm and gives you Fire Cycle Haste. So basically, after 20 seconds into combat, because you get, you then get a bunch of Fire Cycle Haste. Now, Temporal Tunneling, this is a newer trait onto the scene, and this comes from the Atlantis Temporal Destroyer, and this is another one of the key traits for this build. I scroll down to it. So basically, whenever when weapon haste and exotic damage, basically whenever to trigger it, you have to do exotic or temporal bridge officer powers. That is why there are all these temporal ops powers and other things that do some exotic damage or do some exotic, all the science stuff. That's why all the science stuff is on this ship, is so that way you're triggering as much as possible temporal tunneling, which gives you 100% fire cycle haste for energy weapons. It's up 5 seconds, but then it takes 15 seconds before you can trigger it again. But even still, that basically comes down to 33.3333 repeating % fire cycle haste on average, like if you over the 20-second period. So it's a pretty impressive to see when all the fire cycle haste goes off. And then ship of the line, this is another good trait. Emergency power abilities grant crit severity. Now this is for any emergency power ability. So not only when you're triggering emergency power to weapons, but you can use your emergency power to engines to proc this one as well. And this will give you more crit severity, and then it can stack. And you can, from my understanding, keep a 4-stack going by alternating between the two weapons and engines for your emergency power. And as I said, unconventional systems and temporal tunneling are here for basically, that's why all the science on this build. It's to proc those two things as much as you can. That's the build. Let's see some alternatives. Cultural conquest. This comes from the World Razor. I did not put it on here because, not many people have it. It is a great beam overload trait. Promise of ferocity. This is another good trait. It's from the Andorian Thozen pilot escort, Lethian Zekis pilot escort, Duin Vandros. It is a pretty good trait to pick up if you don't have, and the ships are kind of fun to fly if you like that. They're pilot escorts, which means they have the pilot abilities. So let's see, Promise of is basically, yeah, you get bonus weapon damage for duration of combat when using any pilot tactical bridge officer ability, stacks up to 5 times. So you can get 20% bonus weapon damage as long as you stay in combat. But you can only trigger that every 4 seconds. So, and then unconventional tactics. This is one I would sometimes, it's not a bad one to have. Let's see. With all of the using all of the specialist powers on the, temporal powers, you could use this for. Oh, I thought I had that. Guess not. Why it's not in here, but it's essentially
which
there
one?
to unconventional tactics. I believe it's to help you get your specialty bridge officer powers back up faster. Sure.
Unconventional tactics gives a 20% damage bonus whenever you activate brace for impact.
Oh. Or that. I'm thinking of probably Vanguard Specialist in my head. The adaptive tactical algorithms, that one's not a terrible trait, do I? It comes from the Cyclone Intel Escort. I didn't choose it because basically it does something different depending upon the bridge officer powers, specialty powers that you are triggering. Temporal Ops gives you increased damage, 20% increased damage, and 50 starship expertise. It doesn't specify the damage type, so it should increase even your beam weapons. It looks like they all pretty much give you increased damage. Some of them give a lot more increased damage, but it looks like the secondary part of it is what flavor is of the different specialist. And then improved tactic or predictive algorithms. That's from the intelligence officer. There's an improved variant from the temporal agent. And let's see, do I have predictive algorithms? There it is. And basically activating any weapon enhancement. Basic ability removes 1 debuff effect and grants 2.5% or 2.5 accuracy rating for 30 seconds. It's not bad. It is a way to get rid of some debuffs if you're going up against enemies that, say, do plasma fires on you. It also can, accuracy's not bad, but most people have a lot of accuracy other ways. And in my little thing, I was like, I did in the notes I put in here. There are 2 key traits in the build: unconventional systems, which is personal, and temporal tunneling, which is starship. Unconventional systems procs off of each control bridge officer to reduce the recharge time of your universal consoles, and then temporal tunneling it gives you the 100% fire cycle haste for energy weapons when using exotic damaging bridge officer powers. And this lets you essentially spam your universal consoles and get crap tons of fire cycle haste. And when I say crap tons, it looks like when I open up on a ship, I have lances.
Let's show them. Let's run something real quick. You are done with the build, right?
I am done with the build. It is ready or something.
Okay, I'm gonna queue us for Swarm Space for the daily.
All right.
Wee woo.
Wee woo. Hopefully Nimoy. Wee woo.
Wee woo, Nim. Yes, no, maybe so. Bueller.
Oh, there is a bit of delay.
I know. And I don't mind if she just wants to follow one of us and shoot stuff. It popped up and went away.
Did you click to accept?
Did you click accept?
I did not.
I did not either. Go ahead and decline and we'll repop it. Did that re-queue you?
Yes.
Okay. We will try it again.
Wee woo now? I got a wee woo.
Me too. Waiting for Nim. Ah, there we go. Okay.
Click accept and go.
And we're going to run into each other.
On my screen, you just disappeared. Like the game's like, I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah, hi, Odo.
Okay, offensive configuration.
Alrighty. Okay.
Oh no. Nimoy's following me.
I guess I'll go left.
Sure. Nimoy's putting responsibility on me that I'm not sure I'm ready for.
Good way to test your build.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Aw, they shot me.
I'm sorry, this is just funny. No, I'm not sorry.
Huh. Alright, I'm trying to get these ships up over here. I'm working on it. Ooh, I might have spun too far on that one.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
There we go. Okay, I got my 3 up. Going to the other side.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Well done.
I'm gonna go find a satellite to sit next to.
Me too. As I drag Nimoy along.
The satellite is back online. It will launch tractor
got
mines
one.
against the Herc ships.
Target's shields have failed.
I can't even turn fast enough for my dual beam banks to get on target. Who needs urine? Looks fine.
Oh yeah, I'm good. We're just trying to destroy all of them that are left over here. You only got one more over there. I'll let you handle it. Okay. Here we go. Phase 3.
when Nimoy's ship catches up to me, it's just kind of funny sometimes. Just
Refugee
rams
ships
into
heading
me.
Down escape route Alpha. Protect them. Herc's ship spotted at escape route Gamma. Get over there.
Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
I mean, we could brought Nimoy
Oh, we could. Is
fine.
she up there? No, she's not up there.
No.
Nim, you are welcome to join us if you want. Just jump into 10 forward and we'll pull you down.
And you don't have to talk. You can just listen to us banter.
Shields have failed.
If you want. No pressure. We don't mind you just following along too.
As I think Nimoy sees how I do this TFO, I just sit here.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of honestly the best way to do it. Especially in less nimble ships. I mean,
Head
if
to
you have a
escape
really
route Beta.
fast ship,
Protect the refugee
that's one
ships.
thing.
Refugee ships heading down escape route Alpha. Protect them.
I mean, I wouldn't say the Typhoon is exactly a slug, but it's not the most nimble thing
Herc
either.
dreadnought on sensors. Be
Oh,
careful.
hey, that's on me. Come here, Hive. The Hive dead.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Nothing lasts long.
Just imagine if you had all the stuff and things to really, boost this build.
I have probably enough of it that it's still. Though, if you're looking to win the DPS race or whatever, this is probably not the build. Like, you need to go for more of a AoE style.
Well, especially in this TFO.
Herc's ship spotted at escape route Gamma. Get over there.
Come here, boys. Come say hi.
Refugee ships heading down escape route Alpha. Protect them.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
There we go.
As one of the other people, like, oh hey, enemies are supposed to be coming in on Alpha.
Speeding up the
Comes over and they're like dead
All
already.
units will be utilized now. Head to escape route Beta.
I know
Protect the
the
refugee
feeling.
ships.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
I'm really not even using all of the stuff that makes this build. Like, for like they're not living long enough for me to even like hit certain things, powers.
Hey, do we have a plan for next week?
No.
Refugee ships heading down escape
Okay,
route Alpha.
we'll have to
Protect them.
discuss behind the scenes then. We will let you guys know next week what we're going to do next week.
And sorry about Monday not doing our fun night. That was when my furnace was getting worked on, and so I was up way earlier than I was normally. I had 3 hours of sleep, and then didn't get a chance to get any kind of nap in because it was almost an all day thing.
Herc's ship spotted at escape route Gamma. Get over there.
When your furnace guy has to leave and come back. Yeah, he had another appointment. He was like, I got another appointment I got to go take care of, and I have to go get the board and whatnot. So, yeah.
Interesting.
So.
Head to escape route Beta. Protect the refugee ships.
Target's shields have failed.
So I like myself some lances, which is why I think I really like this build, because it makes
Refugee
your
ships
dual
heading
beam
down
banks
escape route
look
Alpha.
like
Protect them.
lances going out.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
2 more refugee ships away.
I think it probably helps that with the setup, I can pretty much keep beam overload going near indefinitely.
It's worth noting that
Get over there.
we looked at some other ships to see about doing this build on, and there really aren't any other good choices. The Typhoon was kind of unique in its bridge officer seats to make this happen.
Well, okay, the Kronos temporal battle cruiser or something like that was a very close, like you could do this build on it. However, being a beam overload, I prefer to have more 4 weapons than and so
We did what we
the
could.
Kronos being a battle
Hopefully the
cruiser
Herc
was a
swarm will
4-4
focus
setup.
their next strikes on an
And
uninhabited world.
yeah, not that it couldn't work. It just, to me, was just barely missing the mark for that 4 aft weapon ratio. It's like this one you get the nice 5-3 setup, so
Which is definitely good for beam overload. I agree. All right. Once again, Monday night we'll be doing fun night, although I have to work, so it's hit or miss if I will be able to make it or not. We will see. No promises. Thursday, we don't know what we're doing yet, but we will come up with something and we'll let you guys know during our customary social media advertisements. Until then, hang on, I gotta look it up. Otherwise, I'm not going to say it right. Until then, be fun, have safe, and don't set yourselves on fire, and I will see you out there.
We have 4 people. We'll come back and we'll discuss that. Live long and prosper, everybody. Thank you for being here. And computer, end program.